A very good morning to all the students. I hope you all have seen part 1 of chapter 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind. In that we discussed about the Einstein's hobby. He loved mathematics and physics, and then at the age of 6 he learned to play violin as his pastime, as a hobby. Then Einstein went to high school in Munich, where his family then moved after 15 months old, and he almost scored good marks in all the subject. But at the age of 15, when Einstein, so he was then left the school for good, and then he moved to Milan. His parents, they have moved to Milan, and they left Einstein over there with their relatives. And the Einstein, he was very much affection to the maths and physics, and then he was put in the school of Switzerland, and the language used for the communication that was used, that was German. Now we'll move ahead. He also felt a special interest in a fellow student, Maleva Merrick, whom he found to be a clever creature. See what happened. Other than maths and physics, Albert Einstein liked one of his fellow students, and what was her name? Was Maleva Merrick, and he thought that she was very clever, sharp, and intelligent also. This young subs had come to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few in Europe where women could get degrees. See, they met at the University of Zurich, and Maleva Marek, she belonged to Serbia. That is why she is called a Serbs, and she came from Serbia to Switzerland. Why? Because the university in Zurich, which were there, was one of the few universities in Europe which gave degrees to female students. Einstein saw in her an ally against the Philistines, those people in his family and at the university with whom he could constantly at odds. See, ally means a friend, and Philistines means a word used to disapprovingly to talk about people who do not like art, literature, or music. To be at odds means to be in the opposition of someone, to be against of someone. See, Einstein, what he felt that Maleva was a friend. Why? Because she also liked art, literature, and music, and they both shared the common interest. They were having a common interest. And in those days, having interest in arts, literature, or music was not considered to be good. So those people who were interested in art, literature, or any music, they used to call their opponents Philistines. And Albert Einstein's family and many people who were there in the university were not in the favor of this. So against such people like Albert Einstein and Maleva Marquez, unity helped them to face the situation. See, the couple fell in love. Letters survive in which they put their affection into words, mixing science and tenderness. Wrote Einstein, "How happy and proud I shall be when we both have brought our work on relativity to a victorious conclusion." See what happened when the Albert Einstein and Maleva Merrick, they fall in love with each other, and they exchange love letters to express their feelings, and they used to write such kinds of letters where they used to mix science with their feelings. At one instance was Einstein talked about his scientific invention and said that he would be very proud on that day when they would finally conclude their paper on the theory of relativity. See, in 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. See, what happened when in the year 1900, when the Albert Einstein was 21 years only of age, and he has completed his graduation from the university, but he was still unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. See, patent means what? A document which gives the right of an invention to any inventor. From 1900 to 1902, Albert Einstein was working as a teaching assistant. He was working as teaching assistant and he gave private lessons. And finally, in the year 1902, he got a job and it was in Bern. And Bern is a city in Germany. He got the job of technical officer in the patents office in Bern. See, he got the job over there, and while he was supposed to be assessing other people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. See what happened? Einstein, he was supposed to check the invention done by the other people and he gave them a patent. See, on the other hand, secretly he was making his own invention also. He is said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. See, Einstein, he was said as a desk on which he worked was the office of theoretical physics. Why? Because there only he started working on his invention. He started working on doing all the invention. One of the famous paper of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. See, absolute means it is measured in itself. It was not in the relation to anything else. See, in the year when it was 1905, Einstein he published his first paper and it was about special theory of relativity. And in this publication, what was written? It was written that the measurement of time, what was the measurement of the time and distance is not absolute. See, it depends on something else, depended on something else only. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relatively to the other. See what, according to his theory, what he was saying, that when there are the two clocks are there and they both are moving and they will not show the same time while moving, one clock will move faster than the other one and there will be the different time on both the clocks. See, from this followed the world's most famous formula which describes the relation between mass and energy. See what is said, that it was with this formula they were showing the mass and energy formula of his he has invented, and it is said, see, E is equal to mc, and see, this theory which is relatively he gave us the basic formula of physics. What was that? E is equal to mc square. That see, in the mathematical equation, E stands for energy, M for mass, and C for speed of the light in the vacuum. See what is said, E stands for energy, M for mass of the object, and C for the speed of the light in the vacuum. See what is a vacuum? Means where there is no air, and the speed in the light of the vacuum is almost it is 3000 kilometers per second. To put it into a simpler word, Einstein said that when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours and it seemed like 2 minutes. See, on the other hand, when you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, when you are sitting on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like you are with a 2 hours, that are relativity. So a person would feel the timing differently. See, while Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling. Unraveling means what? It's starting to fail. And see, though he was solving all the complicated problems which was in the physics for the world, and his at the same time his personal life that also started becoming problematic. He started to fail in his personal life. See, Albert had wanted to marry Maleva right after finishing his study, but his mother was against it. See, he was in love with Maleva and he wanted to marry her. And soon after he finishes his study, but his mother she was against it. And she thought Maleva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. See why she was saying no, that she thought that Maleva Marik was, and she was 3 years elder than to whom, to Albert Einstein, and that was according to her was very old for him. And she was also bothered by Maleva's intelligence. She is a book like you. His mother said Einstein put the wedding off. See, what her mother thought that Mileva was very intelligent to be a wife, and she told Einstein that Mileva was also like a book and was similar to him. And as his mother was against this marriage, he cancelled his wedding with her. See, the pair finally married in January 1903 and had two sons. See, Albert Einstein, he married Maleva Marik in the year 1903 and they had two sons. But a few years later, the marriage faltered. See what happened? It became weak. See, the marriage failed. Maleva, meanwhile, was losing her intellectual ambition and becoming an unhappy housewife. See what happened when they got married and had children. Maleva Marik was, and she was very intelligent. As being a housewife, she could not cope up with her ambitions and she could not fulfill her ambition, and so she started becoming unhappy. See, she was becoming unhappy after the year of constant fighting. The couple finally divorced in 1919. See, when Maliva was unhappy from his marriage and they were having lots of prolonged fighting between them, and she was not able to fulfill her career dream, and finally they thought to be apart in the year 1919, and they both separated at the age. And see, Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. See what happened after being apart with her. Then the Einstein married, second time he married his cousin Elsa. Hope you all have understood till here. Thank you.